In today's video, we dive into an unexpected story about a talented chef who was fired after clashing with management. However, the plot takes a surprising twist when the chef receives an offer from none other than Tate. Join us as we explore the events that led to this shocking turn of events and what this opportunity means for the chef's future. The chef's journey began long before the firing that would change the course of their career. Raised in a small town, they always had a passion for food that went beyond the ordinary. As a child, the kitchen was their sanctuary. They would watch their grandmother, who was a master of traditional recipes passed down through generations, preparing dishes with a kind of reverence. The chef found solace in the rhythm of chopping, stirring, and tasting, and it became clear early on that food was not just a hobby, it was their calling.
After finishing culinary school, the chef worked their way through various kitchens, from humble diners to upscale restaurants. Their talent did not go unnoticed. They quickly earned a reputation for innovative flavors, impeccable plating, and a dedication to the art of cooking that was second to none. By their late 20s, they had landed a prestigious position at one of the most respected fine dining establishments in the city. The chef's signature dish, a delicate, perfectly seared duck breast with a cherry reduction, became a bestseller and solidified their place in the culinary world. Despite their rising star, the chef was not one to bask in the glow of accolades. They were driven by the desire to innovate, to push the boundaries of what was expected in the kitchen. They spent late nights experimenting with new techniques and flavors, always striving to stay ahead of the culinary trends. This dedication earned them the respect of their peers, but it also made them a target for criticism from management. While they were deeply respected for their creative genius, the chef often found themselves at odds with the more traditional views held by the restaurant's leadership. It was these tensions that led to the chef's eventual downfall. The conflict started small, a disagreement over a new seasonal menu. The chef wanted to introduce bold, unconventional ingredients, but management insisted on staying with the tried-and-true dishes that had built the restaurant's reputation. The situation escalated when the chef proposed a complete overhaul of the restaurant's culinary direction. They wanted to modernize the menu and offer a more diverse, contemporary experience. The management team, however, was wary of alienating long-time patrons. They argued that the restaurant's identity lay in its tradition, not in experimentation. At first, the chef tried to meet management halfway, suggesting minor changes and incremental updates. But as time passed, it became clear that the gap between the chef's vision and management's expectations was growing wider. The restaurant's leadership was slow to adapt to the changing food scene, while the chef felt stifled by their resistance. What had started as a difference in opinion soon turned into a war of wills. The chef's frustration grew as they found themselves repeatedly sidelined in decision-making processes. They felt their ideas were being dismissed, their contributions undervalued. Eventually, this culminated in a heated confrontation. The chef demanded more creative control, arguing that the future of the restaurant depended on its ability to evolve. Management, however, had reached their breaking point. They accused the chef of being too difficult, too uncompromising. In the end, they made the decision to let the chef go. The dismissal sent shockwaves through the culinary community. Word spread quickly, and former colleagues and industry insiders were left in disbelief. How could such a talented and innovative chef be fired? But the chef didn't have time to dwell on the past. They had bigger decisions to make. Their phone had barely stopped ringing with offers from other restaurants, but they were not interested in the status quo. They wanted something different, something that would allow them to continue pushing culinary boundaries. That's when the unexpected happened. One evening, as the chef was packing up their things and trying to figure out what to do next, they received an unexpected phone call. The voice on the other end was unmistakable. Tate. Known for his controversial views and larger-than-life persona, Tate was a figure that few could ignore. The chef had heard of him, of course, but never imagined their paths would cross. Tate, however, had been following the chef's career from afar and was impressed by their boldness and creative vision. He had a proposition.
Tate, who had built his brand on challenging societal norms and speaking his mind, saw potential in the chef. He admired their refusal to conform to industry standards, their ability to create something unique, and their passion for going against the grain. It was clear that Tate believed the chef had the potential to be more than just a renowned cook. They could be a brand, a leader in their own right. Tate proposed an opportunity that was as bold as it was unexpected, a partnership that would see the chef not just in the kitchen, but in the business world, helping Tate build a culinary empire that aligned with his own philosophy of success. At first, the chef was skeptical. Andrew Tate was a polarizing figure, known for his outspoken opinions and controversial actions. Aligning themselves with him could mean attracting both admiration and criticism. Yet, there was something intriguing about the offer. Tate was offering more than just a job. He was offering a platform, a chance for the chef to step into a new role that combined business, branding, and food in a way that had never been done before. This was not just a career move, it was an opportunity to build something greater than any single restaurant or menu. The chef, who had spent years working in the shadows of the culinary world, now had the chance to step into the spotlight. But there was more to this offer than just the opportunity to make money or gain fame. Tate's vision was one of radical transformation. He wasn't just offering a partnership, he was proposing that the chef join him in his mission to disrupt the status quo, to challenge the way people thought about success, ambition, and food. For the chef, it was a chance to reinvent their career, to break free from the constraints of traditional culinary paths. But it was also a risk, a gamble that could either propel them to new heights or backfire in spectacular fashion. As the chef mulled over the offer, they couldn't help but wonder, was this the chance of a lifetime or a dangerous step into the unknown? The call had come out of nowhere, but the opportunity was undeniably enticing. However, it came with the undeniable weight of aligning with a figure as divisive as Andrew Tate. Would this partnership lead to something groundbreaking, or would it be a mistake that could jeopardize everything they had worked for? The chef knew one thing for sure. Their life was about to take a turn they could never have predicted. As they sat in their quiet kitchen, reflecting on the road that had led them here, the chef realized that they were facing the kind of decision that only comes once in a lifetime. Whatever they chose would define not just their career, but their legacy. The offer from Andrew Tate was not just about cooking, it was about rewriting the rules. The question now was whether the chef was ready to take that leap. The chef's dilemma was one that few could truly understand. It was not just a matter of accepting a new job or turning down an offer. It was about what this decision meant for their career, their identity, and their future. The opportunity with Andrew Tate wasn't just a professional leap, it was a personal one. The chef had spent their entire career building a reputation in the culinary world based on their creativity, their artistry, and their integrity. Tate's offer, while enticing, was a sharp departure from everything they had known. Andrew Tate was a figure who had built his empire on controversy. His unapologetic attitude, his rejection of societal norms, and his outspoken views on success, wealth, and masculinity were polarizing, to say the least. Some saw him as a trailblazer, someone unafraid to speak his mind and challenge the system. Others viewed him as arrogant, self-serving, and problematic. Aligning with Tate meant aligning with a philosophy that not everyone would understand, let alone approve of. For the chef, this presented a fundamental conflict. On one hand, the chef saw the potential for greatness in this partnership. Tate wasn't offering a simple job, he was offering a platform, a chance to become part of something larger than just the culinary world. The business side of the offer was undeniably attractive. Tate had a massive following, and his reach extended far beyond the kitchen. The chance to build a brand, to influence the food industry in a way that hadn't been done before,
was an opportunity that didn't come around often. The chef had always dreamed of making a mark, not just as a cook, but as a cultural icon, someone who could redefine the way people thought about food and success. Tate's vision for revolutionizing the culinary scene, mixed with his business acumen, could offer the chef the exact kind of platform they had always wanted. But there was another side to the equation, one that weighed heavily on the chef's conscience. This was not just about food or money. This was about aligning with a person whose values were deeply controversial. Tate's rhetoric, particularly his views on men, women, and relationships, had made headlines for all the wrong reasons. His often inflammatory statements had earned him both adoration and condemnation. For the chef, who had spent years building relationships with colleagues and mentors who valued integrity and respect, the thought of publicly aligning with someone so divisive was daunting. They questioned whether the public would ever accept them as a leader in the culinary world if they became associated with Tate's name. Would they still be able to maintain their credibility as a chef, or would they forever be seen as just another product of Tate's brand? As the chef pondered the implications of this partnership, they also thought about their own personal values. Over the years, they had worked with a diverse team of chefs, waitstaff, and managers. The kitchens they had been a part of were spaces of creativity and collaboration where respect for one another's work was paramount. They had never been interested in using their influence to push an agenda or make waves in any way that could harm others. Tate's rhetoric often did just that, pushing boundaries in ways that made some uncomfortable and others downright angry. Could the chef reconcile their own desire for respect and camaraderie with the potentially toxic nature of such a high-profile partnership? Beyond these professional and ethical concerns, there was the issue of the chef's own future. They had spent years honing their craft, building a name for themselves, and navigating the complexities of the culinary industry. But, as time went on, the chef realized they were growing restless. The kitchen, for all its rewards, had its limitations. They had reached a point where the day-to-day grind of cooking, managing staff, and catering to customers no longer fulfilled them in the way it once did. They yearned for something more, a way to push beyond the four walls of a restaurant and into something larger, more impactful. In many ways, Tate's offer was a lifeline, a way to escape the confines of a traditional culinary career and into the realm of business and influence. But with that opportunity came the stark realization that they might be leaving behind everything that had shaped their career and identity up to that point. The chef reached out to their closest friends and mentors, seeking advice. Most of them were supportive but cautious, recognizing the potential for success but warning of the dangers. They cautioned the chef to be careful about what they stood for and how their association with Tate could be perceived. A few friends, however, felt the opportunity was too good to pass up. They saw it as a way for the chef to break free from the constraints of an industry that often stifled innovation, to build a brand that could challenge the status quo and redefine the culinary world. The conflicting advice only made the decision harder. The chef knew that whatever choice they made, it would have lasting consequences, not just for their career, but for their personal life as well. As days turned into weeks, the chef found themselves at a crossroads. Every conversation, every bit of advice, every sleepless night brought them no closer to a clear answer. In the end, the decision wasn't just about what Andrew Tate represented, it was about what the chef truly wanted from life. Did they want to stay in the safety of their well-established culinary career, with all its recognition and respect, or did they want to take a risk, embrace the uncertainty and chaos of an opportunity that had the potential to reshape their entire existence? The chef knew that either way, there would be no going back. In the final analysis, the chef made the choice to take the plunge. They decided to join forces with Andrew Tate, not because they agreed with every one of his views, but because they recognized the rare opportunity it presented. The chef was no stranger to controversy. After all, Their own career had been built on pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo. If anything, Tate's offer represented the chance to do that on a much larger scale, to use their culinary skills and creativity to influence the world in a way that was both personal and groundbreaking. The decision wasn't easy, but it was the beginning of a new chapter, one where the chef could redefine what success meant on their own terms. As the chef embarked on this new journey with Tate, they quickly realized that the challenges were not over. In fact, they were just beginning. The transition from being a respected chef in a well-established restaurant to being part of a high-profile, controversial business empire was not a smooth one. The chef faced a barrage of criticism, some from those who believed they had sold out, others from those who questioned their judgment in aligning with Tate. But there was also support. The chef's followers, many of whom admired their boldness and creativity, rallied behind them, eager to see where this new venture would take them. The chef's first major task was to help Tate launch a new culinary venture that would combine high-end dining with Tate's larger-than-life brand. It was a bold concept, one that would blend gourmet food with a philosophy of success and self-empowerment. The goal was to create a dining experience that not only satisfied the taste buds, but also made a statement about ambition, power, and the pursuit of greatness. The chef threw themselves into the project with the same passion and energy they had once reserved for their own menus. They experimented with new dishes, creating food that was both visually stunning and intellectually challenging, just as Tate's philosophy was. But as the venture grew, so did the challenges. There were moments when the chef questioned whether they had made the right decision, whether the compromises they had made were worth it. And yet, despite the setbacks and the controversy, they couldn't deny the sense of freedom they now felt. They had broken free from the confines of the traditional culinary world and were forging their own path, one that was messy, imperfect, but ultimately their own. Whether the gamble would pay off in the long run remained to be seen, but for the chef, there was no turning back. This was their new reality, one where they could write their own story, with all the risks and rewards that came with it.